you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. I'm Ashley. I'm a homeschooling mom with 8 kiddos. My kids range in age from 15 down to 10 months. This is our 7th year homeschooling. My older 2 were in public school for a short while, and my 3rd kiddo did half a year of private preschool. So I wanted to go over kind of a taboo subject of skipping curriculum, skipping things within your kids' curriculum. I have seen both ends of the spectrum. I have seen where people say, nope, we have to do everything in this curriculum. If you don't do everything in this curriculum in every lesson, then you are teaching your kids that they can skip whatever they want and do whatever part they want. And if they don't like something, then they don't have to do it. And then I have seen people like myself that are like, there are reasons for that. I'm not just saying, hey, you don't like to do this, you don't want to do multiplication, we're just going to skip multiplication. That is the complete opposite of what I am trying to accomplish by doing this. I am of the mindset that I have reasons for why I allow my kids to skip certain lessons. I have a couple of things. I have 5 things that I kind of go off of and reasons for why I do this. Now, if you are one that is by the book and you're doing all of the lessons and you want to finish from cover to cover, totally fine, totally fine. But I want to give my reasoning for why I allow my kids to skip certain parts of the curriculum. Number 1, I know that comparing yourself to public school is not ideal. As a homeschooler, that is not something that I do frequently. I do not frequently compare my homeschool to a public school setting because at least not now. Now, when I first started, yes, I did that a lot. And it took a while for me to really switch my mindset and get into the habit of not being like, well, in public school they do this and they do this. No. My homeschool is different and I homeschool for a reason. But one thing that always stuck with me after my kids finished public school was that in public school, so monitored by the state, taught by teachers, graduates who have an education background, they do not finish the whole curriculum. Whether or not that means that they skip around, I know this much, unless you are a teacher that goes cover to cover, but I'm pretty sure they are few and far between. Public school does not do every lesson in every single curriculum. At the end of the school year, if it was workbooks, my kids would get those back. We would have those brought home, and we were able to see what all they actually did within the school year. And I cannot tell you how many lessons were not done, were not covered. And whether or not that was a teacher decision, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know. If that was a teacher decision, I know that each teacher and each school and each district has their own like rubrics, so things that you have to get done, and things that have to be taught. So I understand that. But even as a homeschooler going through my kids' curriculum, I can tell you that there are things that are not necessary within this curriculum. Now, as a homeschooler, yes, I overall get to choose what my kids learn and how I present that information and how many lessons they do, or how, there's a lot of decisions on my part that I get to make in their schooling. And I'm going to give an example there was something in math that one of my kids was doing the other day, and they said, what is, I don't know, I don't understand what this is. And I looked at it, and for the life, I can't remember what it was exactly, the name of it, this concept. And I said, I have never heard of this concept before. I asked my husband, who is an engineer and who does math every day, and I said, have you ever heard of this? And he said, no. And I said, I can tell you that what they are teaching you right now is not something that you are going to use, like ever. And I was confident in that. I said, you are not going to use this. And if you do that this way, you are overcomplicating things. If you decide to use the information and use and solve a problem this way, I guarantee you will never ever use this. And this is a hard way of trying to figure something out if you are trying to figure out this answer. I use my best judgment. As a mom, as a homeschooling mom, I use my best judgment. And if it is something that is overcomplicating the problem, and it is way too much, like it just doesn't make sense to anybody that I ask, I'm gonna skip over it. And I'm not gonna beat myself up for skipping over something just for the sake of doing every single lesson. That's just not how I run things here, and that's just not how I do schooling here. Also, which I've mentioned a lot of times before, in curriculum pieces where it is constantly repetitive. And yes, I get the format of curriculum where they kind of build on, and I forget the proper term for it, but they build on each lesson. So like each lesson you are still doing what you did the previous lesson as a practice problems, and then you learn something else, and then the next lesson you go back and you do it again as a practice, and then you go learn something else, and then so you're consistently like doing the same things, just like building on top of each other. That is fine, but once it is mastered, I'm done with it. Once it's mastered, my kids are done with it. If I can sit there and they can whip out the problems, the answers, and they know what they're doing, I am not going to have them consistently do those problems over and over again just for the sake of checking the box and finishing everything in that lesson as it relates to practice problems. So again, there are people that are going to be the opposite mindset of mine, that are going to be like, no, we have to finish everything. Like, it is in my brain, I cannot feel like we are completely done until everything is done. Again, totally fine. I'm just giving my reasons as to why I do the opposite of that. Now, if it is something that they don't understand, but I know that they are going to have to use it at some point. And again, do we really know what all we are going to use when we learn stuff and we go to school or we go back to school or whatever? No. But seeing what I know and that I've used, or my husband, like I said, that does math every day, or even my 10th grader that is, obviously 3 grades above, and have we used this recently? No. Then I'm pretty sure that this is just something that is irrelevant in my book. And so I think that each curriculum piece is, you kind of get a feel for that. And that is why there's one curriculum company that I have spoken about before that has a lot of fluff in it on certain subjects. And other subjects, I love their stuff. But that is why sometimes we decide to knock things out and we say, this isn't going to work. This language arts curriculum from this curriculum company is just at this grade level is not going to work. And that can be as specific as, yes, I use all their other curriculum, but 3rd grade language arts is not going to work because there's so much extra stuff, and I just think it's unnecessary. That's fine too. You don't have to agree with with the curriculum, every single curriculum piece from one curriculum company. There could be one that you like and one that you know, okay, we're going to do every lesson because I think it's all valuable. I think it's all necessary. That's fine. And then some curriculum pieces we can say no. We're going to kind of nitpick things because we're going to kind of chip away at what we feel is necessary and what I know as a parent and as a teacher and as a graduate and as a college graduate, and when I look at my 10th graders work thus far, and have they even touched that in his curriculum? No. Then I think it's something that you just need to reevaluate and look and see, do we need to go over this? Obviously the time constraints of things. So having a lot of fluff in your curriculum, if you have all the time in the world, okay. If you don't feel bad. Don't feel bad about not playing the game. Don't feel bad about not doing all 20 practice problems and just doing half or just doing a third of those if your kid understands it. Don't feel bad about not having enough time to do everything in the lesson, because that is one of my reasons also. And not because I'm trying to slack off, and not because I'm trying to say, well, I don't have enough time for your language arts, so we're just not going to do it. We're going to do half of it. That's not it either. But some curriculums have so much stuff in there that in the past I have said, okay, we're not going to play the game. Unless you really are dying to play the game, we're not going to play the game. And for the most part, my kids are like, okay, we get done earlier. I don't want to play the game. Or no, we're not going to do 25 practice problems when I know that you understand how to do this. It's just the time constraints. Yes, if you need to do busy work and you need to have your kids do busy work, then that's fine. But it's not something that I hone down in on. I don't require them to do all of the things, because if we are under time constraints, then it's just practice. If your kid doesn't understand it, then yes, by all means, do all the practice problems. If we are really having a tough time with some concept, do all the practice problems. That's what they're there for. But it's also on the opposite side of, you can take those things away. You don't have to do all of the things just because it's in the curriculum. So I just kind of wanted to throw that out there, and because I know I've seen a lot of people on YouTube that do, and I see both ends of the spectrum, and I'm kind of in the middle of that, where if it's necessary and you need that extra stuff, then do it. Use it to your advantage. Take advantage of all of the extra stuff that they have. But on the same token, if you don't need it, then you don't have to use it, and you don't feel like you are obligated to do all of the things if something says to you like it's not necessary, or that's kind of overkill for a particular concept. You don't have to do it all. So my take-home point being, do not feel bad if you are on either end of the spectrum, but those are the reasons why I allow my kids to skip parts of their curriculum pieces or parts of their lessons, because there's a reason for it. I don't just tell them, you don't like that, don't do it. I don't tell them that, but there are reasons for it. So if you are in the same boat as me, or if you are not in the same boat as me and you are like, nope, I do every lesson, we have to do every lesson, or else it's, the curriculum's not complete, grade's not complete until everything is done, let me know. I'm just curious kind of what your reasonings are for that. And yeah, those are mine. And I think that a lot of people, especially if you come from public school, a lot of people think that you have to do all the things. But again, I'm here to tell you that in public school, they do not do all the things. And I know that for a fact, because like I said, I bring home my kids' stuff at the end of the school year, and a bunch of lessons weren't done. And you could tell like why those weren't done, because it was, either overkill, or it was, concepts that that are not kind of irrelevant. But yeah, so let me know if you have any questions down below, guys. I will see you next time. Take care.